All right, there, found it, Paul. It's been a while. I mean, when you only do these
You
every
don't
2 or
use
3,
it, you lose
you
it.
don't lose it, you lose. What? Who said that? Sorry, I messed you up completely, and I apologize because I played golf today, so you can't be. You got to give me some leeway here, buddy. You got to give me some leeway.
Took 5 seconds.
That's all I get? All right.
All right, let's go.
Back in there. Here we go. Welcome to Cashing Tickets, your Belmont Stakes special, the 155th running of the Belmont Stakes. I'm Franklin. That's Paul. We are Poolside Bets. We're here to bring you a special presentation of Cashing Tickets, talking about the Belmont Stakes that's coming up this weekend, Saturday, June the 10th. So, Paul, anything you want to talk about since we hadn't been here for 3 weeks since the Preakness Stakes went off when we did our last show?
Nah, it's just kind of a dead time of the year, man. Horse racing, we got a little college baseball going, but it's just so hard to get picks in on that. NBA Finals is going on. Miami went and took Game 2 in Denver. That was pretty impressive.
I did not see that coming. Hey, like I said that night, I said, hey, Miami, I see you. Yeah. I did not. I just feel like Denver just – I don't think they thought Miami had anything for them, and they did not come out very strong there. I think they had a 15-point lead in that game at some point.
Yeah.
If I recall correctly.
Yeah, that Miami head coach is just they just keep sleeping on him.
Spolster's great, and we've talked about it. Coaching matters in the NBA if you're a really good coach. Like, if you got great talent and you got okay coaching, you can be okay. But then when you got a guy like Popovich, you got a guy like Spoelstra, who I think a lot of people have slept on. But if you haven't watched Miami since he became the coach, you're just not watching good basketball. The guy knows how to get it done. Yep. And what's sad is probably the greatest name in Miami history is still Pat Riley, right? It's not even you're not even talking about a player, you're not talking about a coach, you're talking about Pat Riley.
Yep.
And they're out there getting it done. Hey, congratulations to the Heat no matter what happens there. I don't think they can sustain this. I know they play tonight, but it's hard. I mean, how do you continue to bet? I don't know. They've got me dumbfounded. I'm not really sure what to do with the Heat right now. You got any inclination about tonight before they tip it off?
No, the only bet I got on tonight's game is I got the over on Gabe Vincent's 3-pointers.
Gabe Vincent 3-pointers.
So that's a prop bet. Right. Now the spread's Denver -3. I don't know. I mean, I don't trust the NBA or NFL, so I think I've made that perfectly clear.
Yeah.
So, anyways.
Hey, speaking of, did you notice that the NFL finally made a rule change after my team had no quarterback to play with in the first quarter of the NFC Championship game against the Eagles?
So they catered to your team, I hear.
Well, I mean, Mike, who wants to see that? Who wants to see your running back playing quarterback the entire second half?
Well, I mean, you watch Baltimore every Sunday. That's what you see. You see a running back playing quarterback. I don't understand the problem here.
Well, yeah. He's a Steelers fan, everybody. Yeah. You got to give him that one. So now they're allowed to carry an extra quarterback on the 53 on the roster so that situation won't happen again. It probably wouldn't have helped us beat the Eagles, but it would have been better to have an actual quarterback than what we had going on.
The forward pass would have been useful.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, so obviously we're here. This is the Belmont special. We're here to talk about the Belmont Stakes. I want to first say congratulations to Paul on his Preakness Stakes winner. He picked National Treasure to take home the Preakness Stakes, and National Treasure did. He gets out there early. And we talked about it in that Preakness. You get out there early in a modest pace, and you can hold it. You can go strong, and because it's the shortest of the 3 races. National Treasure got out there. First Mission scratched, so that really helped National Treasure in this race. Really hurt my horse when First Mission scratched. It hurt Red Route 1 really bad. He sat closer to the pace than he's ever been. Rosario got him up there, but it was too short of a track for him to make any big run, and National Treasure just takes him gate to wire basically there. So good call by Paul and National Treasure.
Yeah, shout out. I mean, Blazing Sevens ran a hell of a race too.
Hey, look, he battled the whole. I never thought Blazing said. I basically was a toss on him. I didn't like him at all, but
No,
he got out there on the lead and he did not waver. I mean, he was
no.
strong the whole time.
Yeah, so the two stakes races, we've given you a good show bet and Angel of Empire.
Yeah, and if you look, you say, well, you didn't pick the winner in the Kentucky Derby. Okay, but we gave you Angel of Empire was our horse that we gave you at 16-1 in the Risen Star. So you got to give us that, right?
Yeah.
We also liked him in the Rebel where he came home and won the Rebel.
That's right.
Again, I think he went off as maybe a 2-1 favorite there, or 5-2, but won the Rebel. And then he comes home third in the Derby where he paid over even money on the show.
Yeah.
So if you tiered your bets, like I have constantly said over all our podcasts, tier your bets. You know, put some on the win, more on the place, more on the show. If you really like the horse, tier your bets. So I did it. My wife did it, and everybody made money on it. We made more money on the show to cover the place and the win, and still, we made money. Is what I'm getting at. Yeah. It covered the win and place bet, and we still made money there.
Yeah, so strategically place your bets. We've had a good run here. We're gonna keep it going with this Belmont. I love this race field.
It was a big Derby day for me. I think I won 6 consecutive races that day, or won money in 6. I didn't pick the winner in every race, but we got placer shows in like 6 consecutive races that day. It was a big day. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. So we're at the Belmont Park.
That's New York. We're in New York for the Belmont Stakes, which is the longest of the Triple Crown races. It is 1.5 miles. That's 12 furlongs. Yeah, 12 furlongs.
They call it the Test of Champions.
So I have not. I told Paul I was winging it today. I know my horses. I know the horses that are in it, but I know Paul's got us some history. So I'm going to kick it to Paul to give us our Belmont history facts for today.
Everybody be quiet. No. This is the oldest of the 3 Triple Crowns. Everybody knows Secretariat's big run. If you're not a horse racing fan, go YouTube that.
Go watch it, please.
It's got the record, 2 minutes, 24 seconds. The cool thing is he won by 31 lengths, which is 80 yards in football terms.
Yeah.
Just think about if you're a football player standing on the 20-yard line on your side of the field, and looking to the other end zone and seeing you got to catch that guy, and you start at the same time. Yeah. That's what it is.
That's how far.
That's exactly what it is.
Incredible.
There's a blue and white Secretariat pole at Belmont. I didn't really know this, but it marks where the other horse was, the second place horse was when he crossed.
When he won, when Secretariat won.
It's a big blue and white pole there. I thought that was really, really cool. Secretariat made the cover of Time, Newsweek, and Sports Illustrated, the only sports figure to ever do so.
All 3?
When I say sports figure, I'm not talking about human. I'm talking about anything.
Anything ever.
Could have been a damn cricket. It don't matter.
But Secretariat, he deserved it. By the way. Incredible a horse, obviously.
And if you listen to this, you know something about horses. The horse that he was matched up against through most of his career was named Sham. Sham probably was the best horse of that era. He just was born at the wrong time.
Well, he was an incredible horse. He was born a year too early. Yeah. If Sham would have been born a year later, so you have to be 3 years old or younger. You have to be 3 years old to run in this race. When I say you, I mean the horse. Only 3-year-olds are eligible to run in the Triple Crown, the Derby, the Preakness, and the Belmont. Yeah. So they typically, horses that they groom for these races, they run a year earlier as 2-year-olds, and then they get ready as 3-year-olds, and they build points to get to the Derby, and then they can run in the Preakness of the Belmont, right? So what happened was Sham and Secretariat were born at the same damn time, which is sad because if Sham would have been born a year later, I think he would have been a Triple Crown winner.
Probably so.
An incredible horse,
Great horse.
Because Sham had not only did Sham he finished second to Secretariat constantly.
No.
But the problem was Sham's times are still better than a ton of winners that have come through these races.
Anyway.
Because I can remember the famous line from the movie. It's like Sham had the second best time ever, and of course she says second best.
Second
So,
best, yeah.
and some of those records by Sham, not records, but some of those times still hold as some of the fastest times ever.
Yeah.
So it's really
great
sucks
horse.
for Sham that the owners and the trainers that they had to go up against Secretariat at the same time.
Yeah, I felt like if I was going to give all this love to Secretariat, I should bring up Sham because he need. I mean,
A great horse. A great
horse.
horse.
All right, so
He beats everybody, right? The next year, Paul. If
I
he's
think
born a
so.
year later, he wins the
Yeah.
Triple Crown,
You
right?
don't, yeah. Who won the? Nobody knows. It's probably named
Probably
Sham.
Sham,
Yeah.
right? I would think,
And
yeah.
then we got
Or a year earlier,
Yeah.
whichever.
Yeah, however, yeah, just born at the wrong time. 70-1 shot Sarareva, longest odds to win 2002.
Okay.
Justify was the only Triple Crown winner to never lose a race. Now he only raced 6 times.
Yeah, he only ran 6
All right,
times.
so it's,
yeah.
so it's a little misleading there, but it was still a great horse.
Justify was a good horse.
Yeah.
Was that a Baffert horse? Justify? I can't remember. It seems like he was a
so.
Baffert horse, but I'm not positive.
Yeah. Let's see. The 9, 7, and 8. I think. Well, that's not right. Oh no, that's not right. The so if you go to post positions from, we always talk about post position in the Derby, how it's bad, 1, 2, 3, and I just threw them out.
Well, Derby is awful because there's so
But
many horses in it.
Yeah, this is a little different. It's a longer race, and nobody really. I mean, they got time.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter where they start from.
here.
It's not all bunched in. So don't be scared to take whatever post position you like. One of the things I found is the jockeys win percentage at Belmont versus the main track, and then when they're on a 3-year-old.
Okay.
Jose Ortiz, 33% win this year on the main
At Belmont.
at Belmont. On the 3-year-old, he's 58%. Now Jose is always overshadowed by Irad Ortiz.
By his brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Second is Irad Ortiz Jr., 44% on the main track.
And that all right, so when Paul says main, he means dirt. We're talking about the dirt track.
Right.
So it's on dirt, not turf, and of course Belmont doesn't have a synthetic. So when anybody says main, we're talking about horses. When you say main track, that's a dirt track. You're on dirt. You're not on synthetic, tapeta, turf, or anything outside of dirt. The main track means dirt.
Yeah, whatever that is, Golden Gate runs on.
Well, yeah, that's some kind of black synthetic type of stuff. Yeah, they call it an all-weather track. So, yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, so it's 44% on the main track, and on a 3-year-old on the main track, it's 42%.
So he's less than his brother.
Yeah, so
Okay.
that surprised me when I started going through the numbers or whatever. Flavian Pratt, I got stats for him, and then Manny Franco and Kendrick Carmouche. I mean, there's not a lot there. The two that stuck out to me were the Ortiz brothers.
Those are big numbers. 42, 33, 58,
Yeah.
30. Those are big numbers.
The one that you don't see that I was surprised about was Joel Rosario. And the only thing that I
They don't run enough turf races.
No, that's what I always say. I always look at it, and if I see Rosario on the turf, I mean, I get excited. But
Yeah.
for some reason, when he's on the main track,
Maybe he
on the
doesn't like
dirt,
New York.
I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know. He's a great jockey. I just don't know if. Anyway, so we're going to come back to that.
Do
in a
you
little
think
while.
New York's just not his? You know, there's some jockeys that don't like running at certain places. You think Rosario just doesn't like New York? It doesn't fit him,
He might not run enough, but I just don't like when I think of him. I don't think of him as a dirt track.
Because
guy.
I mean, here's
don't.
the thing. Like when you think about Tyler Gaffleone, we both like Gaffleone.
Yeah,
on
a big shot. Yeah,
we-
on a speed horse.
We like him on a horse that's going to go to the front, that needs to go to the front and run gate to wire, or sit 2, 3, on the front. Gaffleone is not scared to send a horse, and that's the thing. Because some of these jockeys, like Irad Ortiz, is famous for it. He's going to sit back regardless of how the horse likes to run. Ortiz is just not a guy that likes to go to the front. He just feels like too many times you wear the horse out. I think. I'm guessing.
No,
I can't get in his mind. I don't know.
I don't know. It's something there.
But
I don't know.
Tyler G knows how to send a horse. But here's the thing. He's only really good at that at Churchill Downs, which
Yeah.
is crazy.
Yeah.
You think it wouldn't matter, right?
No.
I mean, but I'll give you another thing. None of these tracks are the same. Like you go to some tracks and they'll run a mile and a quarter, one turn. You'll go to another track, you run a mile and a quarter, and it's two turns. So some horses like going two turns, some horses like going one turn. Remember when they had the Breeders' Cup at Del Mar that year, how difficult that place was to
Yeah.
handicap because it was so different?
Yeah.
So, I mean, these jockeys are great. Don't get me wrong. We're not trying to disparage any jockey, but some jockeys run better at tracks because they know how horses respond. Like you get a Tyler Gaffleon at any horse at Churchill Downs, his odds are going to be crap because people know how good he is there. You look at Oaklawn, you get a Christian Torres as a name you don't think about much.
Yeah,
He's good there.
They just run there more. They're familiar
You get
with how it works. Yeah.
what's the kid at Jareth Loveberry at the fairgrounds has been really good there. And in New York, for whatever reason, the Ortiz brothers run really well. Saratoga, Belmont, Aqueduct, they run well there. Rosario is the one thing about him. He runs great on all the turf. It didn't matter. He's just a great turf
If you see
guy.
Joel Rosario on a 3-horse on the turf, I mean, I don't care what the odds are. Just bet it. Another thing too that I was going to mention that really doesn't mean anything. I don't think.
We're still in your history, right?
No, I'm moving on. They got a damn. This happened last year too, if I remember right. They got a big wildfire in Canada.
Wow.
And,
Smoke. We're going to have some smoke.
Oh, the air quality in New York's booty, and it's I don't think it's going to affect anything. But that's just something to look at. I mean, I don't know, because I remember the same shit going on last year. I know they showed a picture of the Yankees game, and you couldn't even see the sky hardly. It's just a bunch of crud.
Yeah.
But anyways, no, that's what I got for the Belmont. I just wanted to go over the Ortiz brothers are pretty good here, and they're also just good anywhere. But
Yeah.
you want to introduce the horses?
I will. I'm going to bring them in just a minute, but I was just, I was talking about turns and things like that. So the Belmont's a pretty wide course. So like they're going to run race 10, it's the Met Mile, like the Metropolitan Handicap, I guess would be the full grandiose name, but as horse players, we know it as the Met Mile. And it's a 1 mile race for 3-year-olds and up. And it's a mile. But this Belmont course, it's a 1 turn. They're going to start on the straightaway. They're going to come. They're going to big round turn, and then they're going to finish in a straightaway because Belmont's a big track. And then you got to move to 1.25 miles, which is only 1 more furlong on the turf, but that's the inner turf, which means it's inside the dirt course. So they're only running another 1/4 mile, but they're running 2 turns, Paul, on the turf because they're inside. So it's 2 turns there. But then when we get to the Grade 1 Belmont Stakes and they run 1.5 miles, they're going to have to go 2 turns at the Belmont course, even though it's a big track. But it's got to be a big track to do 1.5 miles. I mean, you just want to keep running around the same track forever and messing it all up. So anyway, it's a 2-turn race there for the 1.5 miles, but not every race there is a 2-turn. A lot of them are 1 turn because the track is so big. Most of them are going to be 1 turn, but here at the 1.5 mile Belmont Stakes, it's going to be a 2-turn. So let's move over to our graphics. Paul, I think I've got it up. Here we go. 155th running of the Belmont Stakes. It is the oldest of the Triple Crown races because if you notice, I think we're I don't have my Huggy from. I think we ran the 149th this year of the Derby and the 148th of the Preakness. The Preakness and the Derby are really close to how many times they've been run. And the Belmont, this is
you also don't have a hat.
I know. Well, golf today. I do have a hat, but it's not. We'll try to be dialed up a little more this weekend when we go north to watch the Belmont. So yeah, here we are in New York. Everybody's going to be dialed up. 2-turn, 1.5 mile Belmont Stakes, the third leg of Triple Crown, the oldest of the Triple Crown races. Of course, New York, New York, California, of course, they'd have all the oldest stuff, right? So, anyway, we'll get started with the number one horse. He drew the number one post. This is Tappet Shoes. He's ridden by Jose Ortiz, who we mentioned before, and he's trained by Brad Cox. He opens at 20-1 on the morning line. This is a 3-year-old colt, and he's a chestnut color horse. He has 5 lifetime starts, 1 win, 1 place, 1 show. Paul, what do you got on Tappet Shoes?
If this was a random Saturday and we were out by the pool, I would talk a lot about Tappet Shoes.
Yeah, you would.
But this is the Belmont Stakes.
Yeah, much bigger
Huge
competition
step
here.
up in competition.
Yeah.
He's made to run out in front, and I just, I don't know. He finished second in the bathhouse. Now, ask me where the bathhouse is. I have no clue.
You want to know who he lost to in the bathhouse?
Red Route Run.
The number 8 or no, number 9 horse. I am so I just want to bring this up right now. If anybody's looking at this, you notice down there, Red Route 1, the color is that was a spreadsheet that I created and then I forgot to change the number. I changed the color, so that's the color of the 9, but the number says 8. So I completely apologize for that. Paul, I am sorry. I've completely messed up our graphics and our images, and that's on me.
Well, we're due to hire a new graphic coordinator.
Well, she's really busy. She said she's really busy.
On.
Got a lot going on. So yeah, you want to know how Tappet Shoes ran his number 1 buyer speed is 91, which he ran in his last race at the bathhouse, which Paul mentioned was a 1.125 race, and he lost to Red Route 1, who is also in this race. He finished second to Red Route 1 by. It just says, I'm reading these, Paul. It doesn't say, it just says second by head to Red Route 1 in the Bathhouse Stakes at Oaklawn.
And the only thing that intrigues me here is that, like I said a while ago, Jose Ortiz is in the saddle. That's a different jockey for him. So,
all right, another question I have for you. Do you think Brad Cox would put him here if he didn't think he had some type of shot, or do you think the owner said, hey, let's just run him? Do you think this is a Brad Cox situation or an owner situation?
There's a reason he's in this race. It may be to help Angel of Empire out. I don't know.
I think this is a Brad Cox situation saying, can you give me more speed up front for my best horse to win this race? And he talked the owners into it. That's just my thoughts. I mean, my opinion. I don't know. What do you? That's why I'm asking. What you think here?
You put a really good jockey on him, and you take him to the front and just say, "Hey, we'll see what happens."
I don't think Jose wouldn't run him just to run, would he? Just to run? I mean, I guess you would just to run in the Belmont just to see. But
who did he turn down to get on this horse? That's the question.
I don't think Jose turned down either. I mean, I don't think he
saying.
had another mount for the Belmont.
That's right. So, hey, do you want to ride? Yeah.
Yeah, I'll ride in the Belmont. Absolutely, for sure.
So that's where I'm at with that. I don't mind taking a shot at him in a exotic. Super or whatever. I get it, but I think he's in this race to push the pressure so that Angel Empire has a shot at the end.
Yeah. Well, his early speed is 98, which you need better than that, I think, in the Belmont to hold. And his late speed is 87. He has not proven to me that he's got anything that can hold up in this race. Now, trainers think, hey, you improve. I get that. I understand that. Yeah. But his last 5 races, he's got 1 win and 4 losses, and
he's got nothing.
He's got two places, 1 show, and a win, and then nothing. So I don't know. I mean, if you can get him in, put him in. No, I mean, what's the worst that could happen?
He's there for a reason. But if you look at the early pace DRF puts out, he's settling at second out of the 1 position. So he's there for a reason. I don't think he's there to make the money. I think he's there to
That's what I think. Brad Cox talked the owners into it.
Yeah.
Of course, they have to put up the money to put him in. You know what I mean? Probably 150 grand just to get him in or more.
Yeah, there's a reason he's there. But
So
anyway.
I mean, that's a big investment just to get your horse in. So that's why, you know what, we and of course we're sitting here talking about it. Why put him in if you don't think he has a chance? But on our other side, as far as we're concerned, as betting guys, we want all the horses in there.
Nah.
We don't want a 5-horse race
Nah,
or a
it's no
6-horse
fun.
race.
It's like
We don't really
7-2.
we don't want a
Yeah.
9-horse race. We'd prefer a 12 to 15 horse
Yeah,
race.
it's
I
20.
mean, it.
Put 20 of them on
Yeah,
there.
put 20 of them in there. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
So all right. Well, that's Tappet Shoes. We'll move to the horse.
We spent way more time on Tappet Shoes than I was anticipating.
Well, no, I'm glad we did. You know, we got a lot to say. Let's get it all out there. So we're going to be a lot coming up later. So we'll go to the horse that drew number 2. This is Tappet Trice. He is ridden by Louis Saez. He's trained by Todd Pletcher. This is a gray horse or roan that's 3 years old, and his sire, of course, is Tappet, as you would guess from his name, Tappet Trice. 3-1 on the morning line. Paul Tappet Trice, who I gave all the love to I actually gave all the Belmont love to this horse prior to the Derby
No.
because I didn't like him in the Derby at all, but I said I loved him in his race. But boy, his Derby race, whoo, I don't know what to do with him. I am lost on Tappet Trice.
Here's my. There's a lot of money coming in on Tappet Trice, and
Lots.
It's just because everybody's saying that he is made for this race. This is why he's there. Here's my problem,
All right.
and I'm not saying I'm not going to pick him. I'm not saying none of that. Here's what I struggle with. So if my analogy would be, if horse racing had I don't know, a pole position, so all of them run one lap around, fastest horse gets the pole, so they get the one position.
Just like
Like
a race,
NASCAR.
just like a NASCAR.
Like
Yeah.
NASCAR.
Okay.
Tappet Trice may be
Would never get pole position.
well, no, on the pop end, he may with nobody else on the track, just him. All he had to do was run.
With the end, yeah.
he may end up being the fastest time if he, when he
with
comes
nobody there.
with nobody there.
Yeah.
The only problem I have is coming out of the corner. If he's got because you watch him train,
It ain't good.
he has the longest stride.
No,
Like,
his stride, and that's
it's
what they
incredible.
love. That's what horse race. The horse betters.
Oh, my God.
Everything I've heard, when he comes down the back stretch, his strides are so long.
Yeah.
You think he's making up all the ground.
That's my problem is that if something gets in his way or
Then he can't.
He's got to start over.
He can't get
and
those
it
strides.
takes him forever.
Yeah, I'm with you.
If he gets a perfect trip, he comes around the outside. I put him against the freaking wall. I don't know, but he probably at the top end. He's probably the fastest horse in this race.
when they're
I just
all
don't-
topped in,
I don't see how he gets to that point without interruption.
he can't. And if you watch his Derby race, he got pushed back early. And what did we talk prior to the Derby? Can Tappet Trice get a good start out of the gate? He is still not, as of this date, he is yet to proven he can get out of the gate. That dude walks out of the gate.
he doesn't.
He literally
He doesn't try.
no. And it's not like they haven't trained him. There's just no early speed there. And I think he is one of the most beautiful horses in this race. And I know my wife absolutely loves him. And he is. He's a gorgeous specimen. And when you see him stretch out, when he won the Bluegrass, he got clear early, right? Like right before the last turn. Tappet gets clear early. And he absolutely opens up with those long strides. And he runs down Verifying and gets by him. And Verifying gave him all he wanted, which also gives me a little concern because I don't think Verifying's that good a horse. And Blazing Sevens finished third in that race.
No.
But he won 3 races prior to that. And he won 4 in a row. But those, I don't know that those graded stakes or not. But anyway, I know he won the Bluegrass and he looked great doing it. But like you said, he got clear and he was able to stretch those legs out. Now, you tell me Tappet Trice is in the 8 hole in this 9-horse field and there's nobody in his way and he walks out and he sits in the first half mile just right where he wants to sit. And then all of a sudden he gets in the 4 path and Saez lets him get his legs going. Yeah, absolutely. Who's stopping him?
Yeah, he at the top end. He may, and I understand completely why people are betting on him. What I don't, which it's hard for me to take my money and put on something
that you don't know can happen. You hadn't seen yet.
No, he hasn't done it.
He hasn't done it.
Not against this competition.
No, and here's people say, hey, why are you even looking at him? Because his top buyer speed is a 99. We get that. But here's what you're not looking at. His early is an 84, but his late is a 107. Because when he gets those legs stretched out, he is a monster.
They were watching him train or whatever, and Saez was, or I don't know if it's Saez on him, but they were slowly letting out his rein. So a horse will only go as far as his rein will let him.
Yeah, let him go.
And there was it couldn't go far enough.
His No, his kick and his stretch is unbelievable. If this horse had any early kick, I would have told you he was going to win the Triple Crown. I mean, honestly. But his early kick is so bad. It's just so bad. And it's not a detriment to the, I hate to talk about a horse bad. It's just he doesn't know how to get out of he doesn't know how to do it early because you can't kick out of a gate long. That's the problem. Yeah, you have to have quick, short burst out of a gate. And he doesn't have quick, short bursts.
I'm not kidding. If they come out and he's in last, he'll be
close to the back,
and they take him immediately to the outside.
Go to the outside immediately. That's what I do.
If they do that, but you can't bet that they're going to do that. You don't know what's
If I was Saez, I would not get trapped down low with the early speed.
There's no way he gets through there.
Why didn't Saez just pull him out and just go 5 wide and just see what happens? Isn't that his best chance?
Yeah, no. His best chance is in the 9 hole.
That's what yeah. Anyways. That's right, yeah. All right, so, hey, look, that's Tappet Trice. We love Tappet Trice. I know we've said a lot of negative things. We love the horse personally. I love his late kick. I love his late stride. The problem is he's so slow early that, giving me in a 4-horse race at 1.5 miles, who else you taking outside of Tappet Trice?
I'm with you.
Anybody?
I'm with you. I just where I got confused is I did like everybody else does. I went and I listened to all the talking heads, and I was like, and I just Tappet Trice.
They love him. They love him.
So immediately my thing is, okay, what is going on? Why do they love this horse?
When he gets kicked back and when he gets stuff in his face and when he can't make those long strides.
He may make me look like a fool here, but I don't see it happening. I don't know. This is too good of a field to count on everything being perfect for Tappet Trice.
All right, so we're going to move to the number 3, and this whole race is going to make my wife happy, but just because we just talked about a gray horse, and we're going to move to number 3, and a name we have not mentioned on the Triple Crown Trail. Number 3 is Arcangelo. He is another gray horse, 3-year-old. Obviously, his sire is Arrogant. He is ridden by Javier Castellano, and the trainer is a trainer I've never heard of, Paul. Jenna and Antonucci, I'm going to guess, is my best guess. He's got 4 lifetime races, 2 wins, 1 place. This would be the 5th race for this horse, Arcangelo, who won the Peter Pan, Grade 3 Peter Pan at Belmont. Hey, it's a big thing. This horse did win at this track, won at Belmont on May 23rd. This is Arcangelo, the number 3.
All right, I'm going to take a break here in just a second, but I'm going to say briefly what I have to say. Good pedigree, just not enough experience. I'm not going to play this horse in anything.
Nothing?
Nothing. I'm not going to have him over the top, in the middle, underneath.
So let me just ask a question.
All right.
Oh, you got to take a break? Yeah. All right, go ahead. Paul's going to take a break. So I'm looking at the PPs for this weekend, and there's one thing I do like about this horse. So on the buyer speeds, he goes from December 22nd running a 53, January 23rd he ran a 70, March the 23rd he ran an 84. Then May the 23rd, which is 2 months later, he ran a 97. So 4 consecutive races, he has improved, which means you see a steady improvement. And he ran 3 maiden special weights, the 60K, 70K, 70K, those are pretty good races. I mean, the class was pretty good there at 70K and 60K in those maiden specials. And then he ran in the Peter Pan, the grade 3. They moved him up. They liked everything he was doing. Of course, he won. He broke his maiden on March the 23rd at Gulfstream Park. Then they ship him up to Belmont to run in a 1.125 the grade 3 Peter Pan. And he defeats Bishop's Bay and Henry by a head. Looks like he finished first by a head over Bishop's Bay. So he's got 4 consecutive races. He's got 4 lifetime races. He's improved his buyer speed every single race. And so here he is in the Belmont. He's stretching out. His longest race was his last in the Peter Pan, 1.125.
I'm back.
So he's stretching out another 3 furlongs, which is a big stretch out. So his early speed is an 84, and guess who else is an 84 early speed? That's Tappet Trice. Oh. So you're talking about another closer, but his late speed right now is only a 96. But again, he is improving. This horse is improving. And his dam is by Modeling, which is also by a Tappet horse. And I only bring that up because I got a little Tappet tidbit for you coming later when we get done with all the horses. So I just wanted to bring that up. His sire is Arrogant. His dam is Modeling, which is out of Tappet, though. She is out of Tappet. Anyway, Archangelo. Anything else you got on Archangelo?
No, I don't mean to. I just don't feel like, there's nothing to waste time here. I mean, they'll call his name early, maybe. I don't know. Late. I don't know. I just don't. I think he's the horse that also ran.
He's one of those also
ran.
Yeah,
I mean, there's about 3 of them in here that also ran. But all
right. So
8 to 1. 8 to 1.
Well, I'll tell you this, Paul.
Who the hell's betting on this song? I mean, what?
I know, and I get what you're saying. The only thing I'll say here is that if I had to pick a different horse to fill out my trifectas and my superfectas, I'd probably look more to Archangelo than I would to Red Route 1 or to Hit Show. I've seen those horses, and I know what they're trying to do. Archangelo's 8 to 1 for a reason. This horse continues to improve. Like I talked about it while you stepped out. Just he's improved every single race, and they're big jumps. They're not little jumps. They're big jumps. So I don't know the trainer. I wish I knew more about the trainer, but I love the jockey. So obviously the trainer's got some pull because he's got Javier Castellano on the horse. But yeah, I don't know. I think maybe he may be a horse that I throw in some exactas, but I guess I would prefer Hit Show over Archangelo if we're talking about it, because you give me 10 to 1 better than 8 to 1 in a trifecta. I'm probably going that way.
And to be fair, guys, if you're listening to this and you're trying to figure out if you want to bet this horse or not, don't listen to what I'm saying because I didn't even look at this horse.
I did. I don't hate Archangelo. I love his trajectory. I love where he's going. I think he's going to be a good 4-year-old horse. Okay, he's 3 years old. He's 3 years old, and he's continued. This is only his 5th race. The Belmont Stakes is only his 5th race. Yeah, so he's young. He's young. He's not been running a lot. But he just won a graded stakes race at this track. Is my biggest thing. He's won here at Belmont. That's where the Peter Pan was. So anyway, but that was a 1-turn. This is a 2-turn. So anyway.
Okay.
We'll move to Paul's horse from the Preakness Stakes, National Treasure. This is a Brown, a 3-year-old. He's sired by Quality Road. His name is Treasure. He is ridden by Hall of Famer John Velasquez and trained by also another Hall of Famer he'll quit juicing the horses, Bob Baffert. 6 lifetime races. He's got 2 wins, a place, 2 shows. Here's National Treasure coming off the big Preakness win. Paul, what do you think he's going to do in the Belmont?
I don't know. He had blinkers on during the Preakness. He's not going to have blinkers on this race.
They're taking the blinkers off?
Yeah, he.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if they can change it now, but if they do, for right now, they don't have blinkers on.
Okay.
I don't know. He ran a perfect race in the Preakness.
Well, we talked about it. You know what the Preakness is? We talked about the Preakness as an early speed race. It's the shortest of the 3. And what happened prior to that race? What happened on Friday?
Yeah, bunch of horses.
First Mission scratched.
Yeah. And
it hurt the speed of that race. National Treasure went out there, set a modest pace, and had all the horse left over. I'm glad you called that horse and I'd already bet my horse prior to First Mission scratching, and I couldn't get back and place another bet. But yeah, so I bet a little bit on Red Route 1, thinking maybe if there was a hot pace that he could come close. But he couldn't because there wasn't a hot pace. I mean, there was nothing there. First Mission wasn't there. So National Treasure did exactly. John Velasquez ran a beautiful race. I mean, he set him up there early, and he held that pace, and nobody caught him, and the National Treasure just took it home in the last furlong and a half. Beautiful race by John Velasquez there on National Treasure.
At 5-1, that number's probably going to come down if I had to guess. I don't know for sure. I don't know.
He's never run a triple-digit buyer. Just if anybody wants to know his speeds, he won the Preakness running a 98. And here's what happens in those races. When you say, okay, he only ran a 98 in the Preakness, don't disregard that, really, because he knew nobody else would go out there and get it. So National Treasure went out there and set the pace, and then he held it, and he pulled back on the jockey pulled him back and said, hey, nobody's pressing us. Let's slow down. And he knew if he slowed down, he had all the horse left over to finish that thing off. Yeah, it really was a great ride by John Velasquez.
That we talked about it too. That if
the horse that impressed me the most in that race really was Blazing Sevens, because he gave it all he had. I mean, that's all that horse had to give. I mean, he ran as hard as he could.
Yeah. Lost my train of thought there.
National Treasure.
Well, we're back on National Treasure.
Yeah.
No, I just don't know if we talked about if Mage doesn't win that race, who wins it? And we talked about it.
National Treasure and First Mission.
Yeah, so I just don't know now. In this race, it's a little different scenario. The only thing I like about him is that he's not been run a lot, so he's got a.
My charger's not plugged up. Keep going.
Yeah, he's not been run a lot, so he's still really fresh. Baffert horse, but Baffert just come off a win. Baffert just come off a win. Now he does